Hey Bill, I just want to make you that quick video. So, turn off the alarm here. So you can see the display. Here's how it looks. So when you turn the car on, this is kind of the stuff you get. Over on the left side, when you hit main, it takes you up to this so you can go, you arrow up, down, left, right. So setup takes you into a little mode where you can just, let me get that in there. You can menu through, and you just pick what you want. Car setup, for example, and then you hit the OK button in the center. It takes you out through all the little programming stuff. Anytime you hit main, takes you back to this screen. Go left, you've got the vehicle, kind of data stuff, or the dynamics, I guess. Depending on if you change the Manatino, so it tells you kind of the different, stuff that you have selected. Hit main again, you should go back. Trip, you can set up two different trip A and trip B. You can actually turn trip B off in the configuration, then you just have one. It just gives you, like your top speed and average kind of speed and how long you've been driving and all that sort of stuff. It's like a little bit more advanced display than that guy down there. So go back to the main menu. Status is the one you normally put it on. I have it set up so that I've got my digital miles per hour over there. You can also configure that to be an analog speedometer that pops up over there. And this one here, you got the water temperature, oil temperature, then you arrow right and you've got the oil pressure and electrical. I have the tire pressure monitor and temperature stuff, so that'll bring up how the tires are looking. I actually need to put a little air in the left one. I think it's supposed to be 28 or 9 on the front and then 30.5 in the back. And then you can see the gas gauge and all that. And then you go right one more time, you get back. Hit main again here, and that gets you back kind of to what is the home screen. So that one's pretty easy. This one over here is a little more tricky sometimes. You got 3 buttons. So the thing you got to kind of understand is if you just push the button, you get the top function. If you push and hold, you get the bottom function. So the basic idea over here is you've got the clock and the speedometer, and then you've got also kind of your your other stuff. So if you push this one here, let me see if it does something. You push that one, and this is where it gets a little weird because you would think if you push main, you would get back to the main kind of menu, but you don't. You have to actually use this one, which switches the view, and that means you can't just push back because you don't go anywhere. But if you push view and hold it, then it takes you out of the speedometer view and takes you into kind of the multimedia stuff. Then when you do main, yeah, then it takes you back to kind of the menu you're used to. So that right there will throw you for a loop when you first start out. There's some little buttons here, kind of, where are they? There's some little buttons that are kind of hidden. Let me see if I can find. Yeah, right here. There's one on each side. It's like a little toggle. Where is this? Oh, there it is. Okay, wait, hold on. Yeah, see, it's hidden up. It's like a little toggle up and down with a button in the middle. On the right side, you can change through, your radio station or your source. If you hit the middle button, changes the source. You hit the toggle, it changes, what radio station or iPod song you're on. Same deal over here. You can see right there, volume up and down, and then this kind of just gets you out of the volume display, or I think it calls up the voice recognition stuff, which I accidentally did that one time, but I haven't used it. Anyways, when you're in here, if you have navigation, then you can toggle this up to get into it. If you have your phone connected, you can toggle down and stuff. Then what's even more confusing now is left and right. So the radio is to the left, which that gets you down into the radio screen. If you want to get into any of the you know, iPod stuff, you go to the right. So let me go to the left. Okay, now I'm on the radio, and if I use this button back here, I think I can change from yeah, FM and AM, and then I can get over into the hard disk, which is in the car, and the CDs, which I don't have any loaded, and back. Okay, and I can use this to turn the volume up. Okay, and if you push this, you get mute. Now you can do the same kind of deal. Oh, my lights went off. Hold on. You can do the same kind of deal over here with the volume up and down using, you can see I'm doing behind the steering wheel. Okay. Let me turn it down. Okay, so then if you, let me see now this is where you get confusing, because then you got to stop and think, okay, where am I? Okay, I'm in the radio, so now I think I want to go back to main. Yeah, so now I'm back to main. Okay, so now instead of being in the radio, I want to go down into the media, so I'm going to click over this way. So now I'm in media, which seems a lot like where I was when I was selecting stuff with the radio. And then you're like, oh shoot, okay, what now, you know? All right, let me try some of these. So you say, okay, let me do this to the right. No, nothing. This to the left. Oh, okay, yeah, all right. And then down, nothing. Up, nothing. So then you're kind of like, oh, I don't know, okay. View, back, okay. Oh, back, okay, got you there. Okay, let me go back in media. So then once you're in media, then you can hit the menu, and that takes you into the menu of, I think, whatever, you know, subsection you're in. But if you hold it, then it takes you into the setup, so then you can manage the hard drive. And then suddenly pushing this down doesn't do jack. You have to rotate it, right? So then now suddenly this button is back. So it's just, you know, it's just some crazy stuff, man. I mean, after a while you kind of get the hang of it, and once you figure out like what you're gonna do, with me, I put in, you can see I went to Apple and got this little pigtail here so I can plug my iPod Nano in, or I guess my phone, I don't know. Normally Abby's in control of the music, but so you can see this menu is kind of all out of whack over here. So, and if you hold this one down, it turns the whole thing off. So this, you kind of got to get, you know, you kind of got to monkey around with it a little bit, and then you can kind of figure it out. So let me show you. So say I want to get into the radio. All right, so then I go over there. So then I say, well, what happens if I'm in the radio and I hit menu? So then, see, now here I'm somewhere where I can store my radio stations and scan and stuff. You say, all right, well, that's kind of cool, but what if I hold down the setup button? So let me hold that down for 2 seconds or 3 seconds. Oh, now I'm in the audio controls. So it's just like, what are you thinking, man? So then you can go in here and adjust the treble and bass, and you know. So then now this button is the back for the menu because they don't have any kind of OK button or anything, you know. So it's just depending on kind of, you know, where you go, you got this multi-tiered menu that suddenly changes kind of what these buttons do. And don't forget, if you push one, that does one thing, but if you hold it down for 3 seconds, that does another. And if you want to get back to your speedometer, then you got to hold this one down for 3 seconds, and then finally it gets out of that whole mess and goes back to your speedometer. So, and then I think you know the rest of the routine, you know, reverse, auto. The car is fantastic as far as the shifting. You know, it knows just when to let you do something versus it needs to do something, versus, you know, kind of like sport mode versus race mode. And like I told you the other day, sport mode, the car's very kind of, you know, mellow and easy to drive until you floor it. In race mode, it's like suddenly installing an exhaust system, which is really great because you can kind of just tailor the car how you want. I mean, it's a fantastic kind of between sport and race, fantastic. Race mode, the car sounds like a Ferrari. Sport mode sounds like a Toyota, unless you give it some gas. Then it kind of gets back. Once you get around 5,000 RPMs, it goes back to sounding like a Ferrari. So I'm really pleased with that. The parking brake is a little crazy. You can see it's in P, but that doesn't mean parking brake. That means gearbox parking. Up there is the parking brake. And so when you start the car up, yeah, it'll automatically come out of the gearbox parking, like if you had your shifter in park, and it'll go into first gear, but that doesn't mean that your parking brake is off. You gotta pull this little guy back. Well, sorry, you got to push the pedal down and pull this little guy back, and then you hear the computer take the parking brake off, but you're still in park, which is another kind of park, sort of just like with an automatic transmission, basically. Now, when you start the car, it's got you in auto mode. You can either turn that off right here, or just paddle up or down, and then it'll kind of jump you out of auto mode, and then pull both paddles back and it goes into neutral, which is what they recommend when you come to, you know, a long stoplight or whatever. If you're going down a hill and you pull both paddles back, you go into neutral, and then if you paddle up or down, the computer automatically figures out like what the appropriate gear is to go back into. So, and then there's a bunch of stuff with the lights and, you know, stuff, but you know, that part's fairly easy to figure out. The only kind of thing, you know, they don't tell you, for example, or they do tell you, but you got to read every single page of the manual. It's like if you want to, you know, put the parking lights on, for example, and then you want to just have only the left one on, for example. That's how you do. You hold down this for a second, and then that's the fog light, but you can only turn the fog light on when the actual headlights are on. And then this is, you've seen all the videos, I'm sure, you know, the decoupling for the suspension, and then, you know, the high beams, flash them just by pushing. And then, this is the follow me for 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 90 seconds, 2 minutes. And that's kind of how you know, get into your house with your lights being on. So that's kind of the car there. There's a few more things. Never touch the windshield wipers, dude. It's crazy. You'll never, once you turn them on, you never figure out how to get them off. Took me 3 miles of driving to figure out how to turn the windshield wipers. Gotta push in, and otherwise you rotate through some different modes and stuff, which is crazy. So, anyways, that kind of gives you a little bit of a rundown. Oh, and on the blinkers, you push them to turn them on, push them to turn them off, or if you push and hold, you get 3 blinks for lane changes. So, all right, that kind of gives you a little bit of a rundown. Hope that helps, man. Don't even get me started on the air conditioning.